Every day, violence damages the lives of millions of men, women and children across the globe. Violent conflict, often the result of real or perceived grievance, greed, or the desire to dominate others, can then be perpetuated by other factors, such as food and resource scarcity, overpopulation, and enmity caused by the conflict itself. The result is more poverty, malnutrition, disease, conflict and displacement.
Clearly a whole range of responses are needed to deal with these issues. For instance, political processes are very important in bringing about an end to violence within armed conflicts. However, CHIPS perceives that a grassroots approach is needed as well, so we have a change of hearts and minds and the development of positive attitudes and relationships within communities.
CHIPS was founded by Roy Calvo-Qureshi in the 1960s and became involved in Cyprus in response to tensions which had erupted violently between Greek Cypriot and Turkish Cypriot communities.
We decided, because it was suggested to us by both Greek and Turkish Cypriots, to look after the abandoned citrus trees. When we finished this citrus project 3 years later, we then went on to the resettlement of an abandoned Turkish village in a predominantly Greek area. You could say that because of the ending of the project in 1972 and the division of Cyprus into north and south, that everything we did was a total waste of time. But a Turkish Cypriot villager who had returned to Kutaisi said, "But you gave us the 5 best years of our lives, back in our own houses and on our own land."
Since leaving Cyprus in 1972, CHIPS has been involved in the Philippines, India, Northern Ireland and inner-city London. CHIPS is currently working with the Ateso and Karamojong tribes in northeast Uganda, who've had a long history of violent conflict, exacerbated in the last 25 years by the proliferation of small arms in the region.
Ateso and the Karamojong are relatives. We come from the same stock. However, over the years, our relations have been antagonistic to the extent that our common border, which ironically is supposed to be the most productive part of the region, has been rendered unproductive.
The CHIPS team is made up of people from both tribes who live together at the level of the local community, thereby demonstrating the possibility of living at peace with one another.
The things that we've, as it were, taken most strongly from the life of Jesus is that he came to live among us. And CHIPS always operates with a small team at grassroots level, living amongst the people, both the inattention area, as much as possible with both sides to the conflict.
Based on careful research, the team carry out practical projects which foster positive interactions between the communities, increase trust and reduce some of the drivers that cause enmity and perpetuate the conflict, such as food and water scarcity and the lack of viable livelihood options. The areas of practical work are agriculture, water, veterinary and community development, as well as supporting resettlement of displaced people. The CHIPS approach to peacemaking in Uganda has gained the respect and support not just of the villagers at grassroots with whom we primarily work, but also of political, religious and other leaders with whom we have built strategic relationships.
Already, I don't know about a project logo. Abu Naragno Yalotome Tiki, Quangata Parini, Equino, Anglo Tiki Chaola, Takani, Equabo, where good I Equinodan. Tatikagana to Giranindan.
In 1998, really we benefited out of from CHIPS because working with the peace building, we were able to interact, to coexist with our neighbors, the Karamojong. Actually, CHIPS went further and it did a lot of things. It reconciled. The people used to stay together, the Ateso and the Karamojong in Apetolim.
But with the CHIPS, it chose to work where? At the thickest of trouble, Look at that border with Karamoja. There's Karamoja. Chiefs has established it is headquarters there, right inside there. Despite that hostile environment, they think that's why you are unique. You want to work in a most difficult situation where nobody else, no other partner can. Development aspect is there. Food security, you are there. Peace, you are there. You are everything. You are everything. You are using an integrated approach like this, extended approach, integrated. Everything at the same time. So that's why you are not just like any other partner here.
So we are calling upon a number of groups, particularly now that Chiefs is among the groups that have come to help us in this direction. We want you to double your interventions and make sure that we put social amenities along the border.
I think there seems to be an even greater need now in the 21st century for peace and peacemaking. And Chips and many others realise that peace isn't just an absence of conflict, and peace isn't made in one day by signing a peace agreement, although both are needed initially. But so the Chips approach is relevant by actually going there, living or working with the people, the parties to the conflict, and showing a willingness to stay and to develop and to build peace, build relationships, build trust. And that is translated anywhere in the world.
Our hope and prayer now is that, having seen the Chips approach work in many different places in the world, that with increased support we can spread projects further afield in several regions of the world.
Araya mamu wamina, araya yang kongi, amin. Wamina, mina, mina, wamina, enyoka mina, pola mina, Kristo yaraya mina, amine mamu yebura, amine mamu yegiye, araya mamu wamina, araya yang kongi, amina, amina, mina, wamina, enyoka mina, pola mina, Kristo yaraya mina, atakaina nakini, akabaru dadang, eraya mamu wamina, araya yang kongi, amina, wamina, mina, mina, wamina, enyoka mina, pola mina, Kristo yaraya mina, atakalimonogni, walangareni wakut, eraya mamu wamina, araya yang kongi, amin.